Hello my friends and welcome back to another episode of Madoka Magica, where everything can and will go wrong, because what is being human anymore? Apparently striving for your goals or hoping for the impossible means you have to lose everything that you once were. What is a soul? Are you willing to part with it? And at what cost? But not even that. Going even further is, it's not a one-time transaction. It is a lifelong condemnation after the fact. You get what you wish for, but you constantly have to pay dues for what you have achieved. As you become overwhelmed by it all. Literally having your soul blacken. Terrifying prospect. But hey, contracts needed to be done, so what's QB expected to do? Tell you all of this up front so you actually make a rational decision about it? Obviously not. That would sour the whole deal. But let's see what else there's got going on for us. Some fun animation, perhaps, to take our minds off of the wanton disaster that is going on. Oh, yippee! Just delve straight back in, seeing her have a little bit too much fun taking down that evil in front of her. Doing a job well done as a magical girl, yes. Not bad little transition. I wonder if there will be a big reveal kind of thing. Behind, you know, all the things that they're hunting. Are they actually as evil as we're being told? Are the things that are like what caused the friend who wanted to join the cult, is it actually the witches? At this point, I'm not discounting anything. I mean, going this far to try and make a statement against her, sure, but having such enjoyment out of her actions a few seconds ago, the duality of herself and her actions right there, worry me a little. And how far off are her thoughts of what the life of a magical girl and whatnot from the reality of it, considering all of the little imagination sequences or her notebook, then compared to the reality of the situation. Especially when Madoka just being a kind of spectator in this so far. She's had a bit of input, obviously, and we're following her mainly trying to understand this world, but as a character, she's not very proactive in it all. Obviously, I'm not saying it's a negative, but I like that she is kind of standing outside of it all, trying to make sense of it. Whether or not the physical hurt is being separated from the emotional, or even deeper. So she has to push herself to the absolute limit in order to even succeed. But how often is she going to be able to do that? She's already kind of given up on herself. Or what's left. One way of looking at it, I guess. Although life isn't quite as sweet as just to allow you to... Really? You're lamenting your existence as this rock being... having your soul transcribed into a stone. You're just a corpse on a string. And yet you drag your friend into that situation and ask, well, why don't you do it then? This is a incredibly harmful way of thinking. Even if it's trying to dig a point of how she feels about herself. Okay, now it just seems like she's pushing all of her issues and troubles and pain for herself onto her instead, so she doesn't have to think about it. Or, just possibly, trying to cause that rift, cause that distance so that she doesn't have to worry about it lest the worst happen. Although she's going about it in a very ass-backwards way, if that is the case. Maybe you should have kept that grief seed. What kind of interior decoration have all of this floating posters? And the scythe pendulum? Like the sword of Damocles hanging over their head. Considering the life they lead. Why did that line sound like it was done in like quite a poor recording quality? Whatever gave you that impression? She will soon birth into like a witch herself kind of thing. I do want to know more about Homura and her understanding of this world, or how much she's gone through. Because she does seem to be this kind of enigma behind it all. Can they even kill it in the first place? I mean, if it can just pull souls out and store it within these stones, too tainted. Ah, yes. It's quite difficult to pay attention in class. And that's on normal days, let alone if you're battling the very forces of darkness and the like. Oh, is she carrying through with what she warned? Nope. But she just wanted to spend some time. Not good at reading cues, really, is he? Where, oh, where could she be hanging out? I mean, are there places that mean more to her that she would spend the time just kind of waiting around, you know? Ah, is she on a stalking mission? I'm guessing her friend is using the push to try and get her to talk to him. And informing him exactly what that there are people close to him that care about him, kind of thing. And she's not quite misunderstanding, but also, yeah, forcing herself further down this path, thinking that there's no turning back. Maybe explain in easier words that she is killing herself, that she will soon. I do like that it's like a weeble and that it just kind of. You know, already told her, you know, Soul Gem is defiled as it is. Really? Well, you won't be using it for long then. Yeah, that's going to be in about, I don't know, 48 hours. You know, the very kind of understandable deaths of someone losing themselves so easily after being, you know, having their entire worldview kind of ripped off from them so easily. I mean, she wants to help her, but knows that anything she does won't actually come to anything because people are too dumb to actually listen. Nothing, really. It's not you that she's trying to save. It's the bigger picture. If you can't think 2 steps ahead, you're already out of the game. So, what does she ask for? I mean, it was kind of, there was no malice in it as such. It was straight to the point. She going to pick up the seed as she walks past? Do they know where she kicked it off to? There was an actual sense of like urgency in that. Just a grenade. She's putting the Yukari treatment. I can get behind that. I like this kind of Sin City aesthetic, the monochrome grayscale of it all. Especially listening to the dregs talking on the train. These are the people that you're fighting to save. Also, who is that voice? It sounds... They always sound familiar, but I can't tell. Is she going to intervene in her own way? Because it's probably just talking a bit higher because, you know, in front of friends or whatever. I like to exaggerate, but also a certain demeanor and outlook on what people are worth. Give her something to fight for. Give her a reason that what she was doing was right. Yeah, okay. A bit too far gone, definitely. Unfortunately, as a antagonist, a kind of like a target to take down, she's probably one of the worst. Power of healing means that if she's corrupted, might be an unstoppable force. Maybe not very strong, but unstoppable. But for Kyubey to pound some people when they're at the most vulnerable, when they're feeling down about everything. Oh, she's signed her fate. Why does Kyubey look so tiny right there? Just the world has deemed it so. Unleash as a power alone, being able to bend the universe to her will. That's always been if people talk about, oh, I want super strength, oh, I want to be able to fly. No, bend the universe to my desire. Obviously, reality warping is a bit of a cop-out answer, but it's the only correct answer. I mean, our ideas and ideals vanish so quickly. Well, to give her soul to be able to trade for everyone else, is she going to use her wish for just Psycho, or is she going to word it a bit differently? Yeah, that's going to be difficult to sign on the dotted line, but did she get there in time? I do like the shade off right there. And so easy to sacrifice herself, to throw herself away, and always talking down about herself. What is her background? This is the only time that she's gotten so emotional. Being told that everything she's doing is trying to save Madoka. Is there a history? I mean, after she just brandished a gun and shot the shit out of Kyubey right in front of her, yeah, I can understand why you'd run away, but... Is Kyubey just going to stand up and say, that was mean? Plenty of spares. Oh, I was going to make a joke about just eat the evidence, but actually the case. And won't be the last. Hmm? Are we getting into multiverse theory? I mean, if you got the power of Madoka who can warp the universe itself, having, oh, it's not this timeline you're from, isn't exactly out of the remit of things. I thought it was a... Let me finish my sentence! I thought she was about to call it by another name. You know, have that kind of drop of, oh, so she knows more about what's going on. There's a history. But no, she just did it as soon as I started the sentence. Great. Take away my little victories. I guess, yeah, the trains won't be running on time for a while. Got to mop up anything that she's done. I mean, there's a bit of colour left. Sometimes equilibrium and whatnot is not necessarily a bad thing. The fact that it got so dark about it all so quickly as well. That was a cool sequence. So that's how it works, right? Huh. Well, the doll is discarded. The soul is released. One hell of a way to end off an episode. Ah. So the natural progression of things. Girl, magical girl, witch that destroys the universe. It makes sense. It follows a clear trajectory there. I mean, obviously, we've seen it now. What happens when one loses themselves, loses their hope in the world, even the base nature of what they're fighting for. I wonder though, now if Kyubey just kind of rocks up and starts talking to Madoka again, if there's going to be a question of, hang on, you're dead. Explain that, please. Or if she's going to brush it off as, yeah, magic. But now seeing her break having an entire section of the city turn to this minefield of soul energy and warp. Definitely sounds like Madoka might jump headfirst into it. Jesus, the way that this entire story just carries out. The fact you've got close friends that break at such a, I won't say trivial matter, because having your soul ripped apart from your body, and not after learning that humans even actually physically have a soul, would be quite devastating. But throwing away everything, obviously the thought of potentially losing the one that she gave the wish up for, even if it was just a misunderstanding, the friend was trying to help her attain what she wants by a little shove and a manipulation behind the scenes kind of thing. But also fighting for people to keep them alive when the people themselves are not worth saving. I mean, sure, having a couple like that on the night train talking shit, probably not the best example of society. There are others out there who might be, worth a little more in the balance of things. Unfortunately, she was out looking for a reason, wasn't she? But now having the idea of Homura having time manipulation magics in corresponding with the potential thought behind why she's so protective, why she's out trying to protect Madoka. No, I'm not trying to help you. You're not really that important. What is important is how Madoka feels about you, and she would be hurt. What is going on? What's the history there? Talking about timelines, time manipulation. Do we have, obviously because I've been watching things like Higurashi recently, a loop situation, like things go too far and Homura's like, right, start again? Do we have a fucking Marvel multiverse winding wormhole situation? And which flavour of time travel and timelines would you like in this? Obviously, I think that's the way that it's trying to press it. If it is, I'm not going to be disappointed, but seeing it all try to converge into a coherent story will be interesting. Especially on the premise of just magical girls but dark, but now we've got everything else kind of steadily piling on top. But I do love how drastic and dire everything gets and how quickly it can get, because life itself is complicated. Things can really just shift in a matter of hours. Your entire life as you knew it could derail instantly. And nothing that we have to deal with is really on the case of losing your mortal soul. So yeah, that's a deal. And then having that wrapped up in the same episode that Saka has lost herself, have been dyed completely black. I'm not sure if it means birth of a witch, but from the words of Kyubey at the end, maybe. Does that mean we get to see fun, new, collage, colourful effect? Or is her inner imagination and dreams a lot more Art Nouveau? I guess we'll have to find out. I love just how bright and colourful and pastel some of the characters and backgrounds are, which then is directly contrasted with a lot of the other bits and pieces. The just grayscale subway where we're only seeing the light and the shadows from outside of the subway car kind of thing was really quite nice. And I'm guessing there's not even near the end of stuff like that what we're going to see, considering Madoka has been full of shit like this pretty much since the beginning. but also B, it's Shaft. Everything that I've seen from them so far has been that kind of purposeful artistic storytelling. So I'm all for more of it, and hopefully you are as well. If that is the case, let me know. If I entertained you today, consider leaving a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel to not miss out future uploads. Maybe join onto my Discord. The links are down below in the description if you want to see some memes, have a conversation about anime and what's coming up next sometimes. Vote on upcoming things as well. It's a good place to go. But for now, get yourselves a bit of rest. Remember that there are those out there who do care for you, whether or not they're working late and getting home drunk. That's a point. How is Madoka's mother going to play into this story? Because she is kind of integral in that home life section. Well, join me for the next one to find out. See you there.